It's a temporary policies. Temporary policy. So temporary policy is nothing but this policy we cannot attach multiple users, especially. You can write, then we can discuss. So we cannot attach this policy to multiple users. So it will not store in default list. Okay, guys. So what is the main difference between? So we can easily understand default policy and custom policy differences by seeing that. But we have a little confusion here, custom policy and inline policy. So mainly the difference is here, inline policy, we can create individual users. Okay, individual users. So if you can create a one user, if you can go inside of the user, only the inline policy option will be available. Okay, so if I can say, once you go inside of the user, is nothing but the policies completely work for only that user only. So if you can write one point, you can easily understand. So centrally accessible. So individually operated. So individually operated. So if you can see in the point inline policy, individually operated is nothing, but we cannot attach other users, right? Individually. So if it is a centrally accessible, anyone can access, but individually means only the respective user can access. Other user will not come, individually operated. So what I'm trying to say here, if you create a custom policy, the policy is going to store in default existing policies. So we can attach anytime. The reason is while creating user time, while creating group time, so we can go into add permission options. We are able to see all the list, right? Like 1000+ policies list. But in the inline policy, the policies is not stored in that list. If it is not stored in that list, how can I attach to other user? So this user only stick on that this policy. So next, if you need the same policy for other user can go inside and create inline policy again, not for pick already created inline policy. It's invisible. Okay, inline policy is not going to store into custom policies list. So we are unable to access, everybody can unable to access this inline policy. Only stick to user. One-to-one access like. But custom policy is not like that. Custom policy is the best option for, if you create a policy, it is going to store into your existing default policies list. We can use at any time like default policies, but inline policy is not going to store into the default list. If you create a now new user, if you want to use the inline policy, the list is not stored into the existing list. We cannot pick like custom policy and default policies. So it cannot apply for all. It's individually works in inline policies. Is it clear? Anyone has any doubts? If you can see the lab, you can easily understand. Is it fine? Okay, so I'm going to create a first policy regarding the custom policies, and a default policy no need to create. It's created by AWS. Okay. Okay, so let me show here. Yes, if you can see these two policies, what type of policies it is are? Custom policies, right? How can I say the list is stored into the default list? So here we cannot find inline policy. Here we cannot find inline policy. If you can see in the points, it will not store in default existing policies list. So if you can go here, it's a default existing policies list. So it will not store any inline policies are here. Only custom policies is going to store along with the existing policies. If you can see 1151, but existing policies may be 1140. Remaining 11 is which I have created. Is it clear, everyone? So I'll just show you to create one policy. Okay, so I'm able to create from here, right? It's a centrally access. This policy we can attach to any user after creating it. Create a policy. If you can see, JSON regarding JSON, I can explain later. So if you can see here, I'll just go to S3 bucket. See, after click the S3 bucket, we have so many actions: list, read, write, permissions management, tagging. So if you can see so many permissions we are going to see. So I want to go in the list option. If you click this, again full access. All S3 actions means full access. That is already we have in the existing list, right? AWS is already provided S3 full access. So why we are going with S3 full access again? Not required. So custom policies, I'm going to create a custom policy. Custom policy, we can control more and more for the resource, right? So I'll just uncheck this. I'm going to give here list. If you click list here, list access point, list bucket, list all my buckets, so many options we have. If I create this list all my buckets, so if I create this policy, if I attach this policy to my user, they are able to see only list all my buckets. They're unable to create, even delete. Okay, let's see here. List all my buckets, action I have applied. Okay, action is list all my buckets, effect is allow. Allow all buckets list. Okay, allow all buckets list. Okay, I'm not giving this time read, write something, just for understanding what is custom policy, inline policy difference. Then we can discuss more and more. So resource level. Resources level is nothing but whatever action you have selected allow for is the resource is S3, right? S3. So this permission is apply for all S3 buckets or specific S3 bucket. We can control in that level also. Okay. Anyway, just for first policy, I'm keeping same as for all buckets. All. Otherwise, you can select specific, bucket also. Okay. Next. Policy name. Just give custom S3 something. Custom S3. Created. Okay. Okay, I have created policy. If you can see, the policy is going to store here or not. Let me check. S3. Give enter. S3 custom policy. Just now I have created. Means custom policies are going to store into that list. Okay. Can I delete this one? Yes, I have a permission. Reason is I have created. So simply I can delete it. Delete. If you click delete, it's going to delete. But I'm not. And these are Default. Can I delete? See, there is no option. Created by AWS. So this is the main difference between custom policies and default policies. Okay. Now let's jump to inline policy, how to create. Then we can discuss in depth level what is how it will work, how can I enable something. So inline policies. Inline policies, if you can click here in the policies level, if you click, these are the custom policies level, centrally accessible. But inline policy is only accessible inside the users. So definitely we should go users first. So I have so many users, right? If you click user one, I'm inside of the user now, right? If you can see, I'm the inside of the user. Add permissions, create inline policy. Inside user only available of inline policy. If I click on the inline policy, same process. There is no difference in the process, but only difference is inline policies only work for one-to-one only. It will not store in centrally. It will not accessible in centrally. Means no one can attach this policy. It should stick on that user only. User 2 cannot access this policy, right? We are in the user one level. We are going to create this permissions. It is not going to, if it is not going to store in centrally, then how we can give the access for other user? It is not possible, right? So let's take S3 again. So give list or any actions. So go to next. So inline policy, inline S3 created. Okay. Inline S3. Okay. If you can go into the existing policies, inline. So nothing is there. The reason is the policy is not attached into the centrally. I mean, it's not operating centrally. We are unable to find in the default existing list. So in that case, how can I attach other user? I want to attach this permission, whatever I have created inline policy, to other user. Is it possible now? No, only it is apply for one user only. I have see, this is user 3. If I want to attach this permission, add permissions, go here, attach policy. There is no inline option to attach. The reason is inline policies are created in the users level. So one-to-one, if user is created inline policy, it's a temporary, only apply for that user only, respective user only. It will not apply for other users. Is it clear? So if you can go, I have created user one, right, for the policies. So inline S3 is there, only attached to user. Created user, it is automatically attached to created user. This is the main difference. So anyone has any doubts on the inline policy? Is it clear, everyone? Permissions or policies? What about online? Clear or not clear? So that we can explain one more time. Ravi Kumar, do you have any doubts? Okay. So I have a user I want to access, I want to give the, as a root user, I want to give, okay, I will explain in the paint. Maybe you can understand very clearly. Okay, I have a 3 users, guys. I have a 3 users. User 1, user 2, user 3. Okay. Just I'm taking an example of S3 bucket to understand clearly. These are S3 buckets. Okay, these are S3 buckets. So now, okay, so root created by users, right? Okay, now user 2, I want to give access, user 2, I want to give access for only test 1, test 2. Okay, here default policy, default policy, here custom policy, here inline. Okay, guys, we have a 3 type of policies, S3 bucket users. Now I want to give user 1 to access test to S3 bucket only. Test to S3 bucket only. Okay. So maybe in future, these permissions, whatever policy you have created, it should be accessible for others also. So the same permissions maybe in the future, I'm going to use this permission in the future also. So now I want to give user 1 to access test2 bucket. This permission should be usable for next future also. Whatever policy is created. Which one is the best? So user 1 custom policy test2. Okay. Now same thing. I want to access all the buckets. All permissions. Which is the best? Go with the default. Okay. Now I want to stick on my policy only respect to one user. It's a temporary. No one can access in the future. Inline. Test 1 or test 2. Is it clear? Anyone has any doubts? Even if I didn't apply the default policy, does it? No, we should attach, right? While creating user time, we should attach in the permissions levels. If you can see here, if I want to give full access, I have only in the users inline and change password, it's default. Click on add permissions, attach policies. We should attach, right? Existing policies, whatever, it's not attached, you should attach. If I give this policy, now attach. Inline policy only by default automatically it's going to attach to users. By rest all we should attach. The reason is user in the inline policy we know it's work for only one-to-one user only. No need to attach again. But whatever custom policies are default policy centrally operated, right? So we should pick unattach for next users. Is it clear? Sir, inline policies means roles. No, roles are different, inline policies are different. We can attach policies to roles, right? We cannot attach roles to policies, right? Is it clear or not? So here we are attaching all our users, right? We can attach same thing to roles also. For example, it's a role 1, role 2, role 3. I need role 1 permission for test 1 bucket. Simply we can attach, right? I'll attach this policy. I mean, what are policy, default policy or inline policy or custom policy? We can attach to role, take this role and attach to service. For example, EC2. Is it clear? Don't confuse. In the place of users, roles will come. The roles only attached to, we can attach to users, we can attach to services. Is it clear? But user cannot attach to service, right? Right? Yeah. Yes. Please practice it, guys. If you practice, you can understand. Okay. So write the points in your notebook to understand such a way that difference of the role and user, difference of the permission policies, you can like that. So why roles coming to the picture? We have already users, right? Users cannot attach to services. Roles we can attach to services. Now EC2 should talk to S3 bucket. So no need to create again user for that. Already EC2 is working as a one user or root. Simply for S3 bucket, you can no need to configure access key secret key. Create a role for EC2 behalf of EC2 and attach S3 permissions. Take that role and attach to EC2 mission. No need to configure credentials at the time. Okay, already I have shown you, right? If I give AWS S3 LS at the time, forcefully the EC2 mission is asking us to configure AWS configure the command to give the access key secret key. But if you can attach the role, it's not asking, right? Simply you can access the S3 bucket list like that. Service to service communication inside the AWS environment. Is it clear? Anyone has any doubts? Okay. So now I'll jump to custom policies and prove it. No need to create inline policy, right? We are clear, right? The steps, whatever we are following the custom policy inline policy, same. There is no difference. But inline policy is not going to store into that centrally. That is the difference. Okay, go to policies now. I have already created one custom policy, right? S3 custom, right? So if I go and log in my user, so go to my users now. I'll just go to user 1. I think my end there is no credentials. One more time I'm going to generate it. So before that, I'll just remove the full access here and go to users. Okay, user 1 is operated as inline policy. Go to user 2. I'll just remove all. So I have a user 2, user 1 now. User 1 already inline policies attached. Okay, let me log in as my user 1 now. So go to credentials. Actually, I haven't stored my credentials before. So again, I'm going to auto generate password. No. So these are my credentials for my user. Password. So this is the password by my user. So let me log in there. I'm taking one more Firefox, AWS Management Console, login. Okay, close it. Take the account ID here. User 1, password, Control C, Control V. Okay, so I'm going to log in. No need to save. No, what are the permissions are there for my user 1? Only inline policies, right or not? Inline policy. Okay, inline policy, custom policy will work same, but the difference it's not stored into centrally. That's it. It's only stick on for only one respective user only. But permissions level, everything apply for the same. So if you can go, I'm in the user 1 level. So if I can go in the Lambda or EC2 other services, so we don't have permissions, right? And if you can go on the EC2 also, we don't have permissions. So we don't have permissions, all are API errors. So if you can go S3, can I create S3 bucket? Can I create S3 bucket from the user? Can I create or not? Very good. The reason is I'm able to see all buckets, right? So now I want to delete this bucket. Insufficient permission to list object for bucket. Even I'm unable to see the objects inside bucket. Why? I have given only list buckets permission. So I'm able to see list buckets. So list buckets is different. List bucket is different. List buckets is means we are able to see all buckets. List bucket means inside bucket list means objects. Don't confuse guys. Huh? So I have given list buckets. So I'm able to see all the list of buckets. So is it possible to give same permission from the default? No. In the default, we have a permissions full access. If you can give full access, we cannot control fine grained access for resource level. But here I can control, right? If you want to see the list of buckets, create a custom policy or inline policy. Clear? When we can create inline policy, when we can create custom policy, inline policy is temporary policy for only, it will work for only the respective user. It is not going to store in the existing list. We can use for other user. It's not possible. The reason is inline policy stick to only user. But if you can create the same custom policy, we can attach multiple users. If there is a requirement in the future, yes, instead of creating next time, I mean, again and again, whoever there in the user, we can attach these permissions. They can same permission, it will work. But inline policy, we cannot. It is not going to store into centrally. Is it clear? Now, same permission I want to give the user. Can I use inline policy? No. No. It is stick to the same user, whoever created. By default, it is attached to him only. Clear? No. Now, okay, this is a user 1. I'll just log out from here. Now go to users. So user 2, this time is user 2. So I'm going to add a permissions. So attach policies directly. I have a list of actions here. So I want to attach custom policy, whatever I have created. S3 custom. Next, Add permissions. Permissions updated to my user 2. Okay. Now I want to log in my user 2. Security credentials, enable console access, enable it, auto generate password as user must create new password at next time. If you click on this, you should change the password, username and password, next login. So user 2 and password. User 2. Is it clear? Now I want to log in. Let me take account ID. Username is user 2. Password, you can go here. Control C. Control V. So I'll just log in. So this time I'm using custom policies, not inline policy. Okay, what permissions I have given? Custom, what is this actions? List all bucket, same permissions. Same. So work as a inline policy. There is no difference at custom policy, inline policy. But here the difference is, what? Here the difference is same thing. We cannot delete, we cannot create anyway, even custom policy also. But the difference is we can use this permissions policies for next other user also. So let's, what I'm trying to say, users. I'll just using user to this permission, right? Custom policy. If you want to attach next user to the same permission, we can attach it. So user 3 also can use, right? Go to permissions, attach policies, custom. I have created. So next. See, we can attach multiple users, the same permissions, same policies. No need to create one more time. So we have a user 3. Can you create the list permissions of the user 3? Okay. While user 2 creating time, I have created the permission, right? So you can attach same permission to user 3 also. No problem. But inline policy, we are unable to see even here. When we can see, once you go inside the user only. In that case, we cannot attach for other user. It's by default attached to user, created user. It is not stored into the default list. Is it clear the main differences? Is it clear, everyone? Is there a way to see to contents without downloading the object? No, how can you see? No, it's not possible. Okay. There is no any editor here to see like EC2. Okay. Is it clear, everyone? Difference between custom policy, inline policy majorly, so that we can move further advance. Okay. So I'm in custom policies now, right? I have already logged in as a user. Now I'll change my policies. I will change my policies. So now I want to create one more policy. I'm not in any user, right? I'm in the policies level and select service S3. So this time I want to give only write permissions. Write permissions or list. List bucket is mean what? Inside the objects. Okay. List bucket permission I have given. So if you can give the in the list level, please concentrate carefully. If I give the list bucket, read permission only. Okay. If I give the delete bucket permission, so two permissions I have given. One is list bucket, other is delete bucket. Okay. If you can give like this, whatever bucket you are giving here in the list, that only we can do it. What I'm trying to say, if you can give the list buckets permission, you are able to see all buckets list. Then you can delete it. Now, if I uncheck the list all my buckets, I have given only list bucket. Which bucket you are going to talk? List bucket means you should mention, right? Okay, list bucket. If you are saying a list bucket, definitely you should mention which bucket it is. I'm talking about only bucket, one bucket. In my account, 6 buckets are there. If I'm talking about list bucket means list objects. Okay, you are talking about which bucket? I should mention here. If I'm taking one, I'm going to pick one bucket in the list. So you should say which bucket it is. Okay. I'm giving the delete bucket option. Okay. Which bucket it is? You are saying about delete bucket, but you are not click the list all buckets. If you select the all buckets, you can select, you can delete it. But you are not, if you are not wish to see the all the buckets, give the access for all buckets, only give the one bucket. Now, if you can give the delete bucket option. So now you have given 2 buckets. So definitely here ARN will enable. So if you uncheck this, if I uncheck this, again list all my buckets. Here there is no specific option is not enabled. The reason is you are selecting all, right? Then why your specific is enabled here? Specific is nothing but you are talking about only one bucket, specific bucket in the list of all. If I have a 6 buckets, when the specific is enabled, if you are talking about one bucket, respect to bucket, any one bucket. So now again, I'll uncheck the all list buckets. I'm going to check only one bucket. List bucket means inside object. One bucket. List all my buckets means all buckets. So now inside list, you are taking only talking about one bucket. Then if you can see here, specific ARN is enabled. The reason is you should mention which bucket you are talking about. If I click this, add ARN. Okay, out of all buckets, you are talking about which bucket. Now this is the, it will work out now. So which bucket, if you can go the list of the buckets, what are the buckets I have? Hmm? Let me check bucket name. Okay, so I'll just go in the bucket. So I'm talking about one bucket now, right? Not all buckets. So which bucket you want to show this in the content? So here the content is there. I'm going with test.del HID. Control C, go to here, Control V. If you can give any bucket name, again the same process, list buckets, it will add ARN. Next, policy name, you can give custom list objects. Custom list S3. Okay, I have created only policy. The policies says, see the list objects. Which bucket it is? I have created one inside one list of my buckets. Okay. Okay, go here, list. So this is my policy. This is my policy. Earlier policy is talking about all buckets list. This policy is talking about only respect to one bucket list objects. If you are talking about one bucket, you should mention in the specific ARN. You are talking about which bucket. ARN is nothing but Amazon resource name. Okay. It's like a other unique identifier. How it is like that bucket, there is a other like ARN. Anyway, so I'm going to attach now to whom I have already logged in as a user to, right? I'm going to attach to user to. Where is my user? I am users all type. So user 2. So with practice only, you are able to find the options here. Okay. Okay. Go to users. Otherwise, you can attach from here also. Click on the user to add permissions. Go to permissions, attach policies, give your custom policy name. You can do from user level also, or policies to attach. You can user also. Which one is the better option? You can go with that. So now if you can go the users to, only custom permission is attached, right? Custom permission only attached. In the custom permission, only one bucket. Only one bucket. If you can see, inside only one bucket I have given. Now go to my here, refresh my screen here. Okay, see, okay, I want to check insufficient permission to list objects. I want to see insufficient permission to list objects. So which bucket I have given permissions? I'm able to see all objects. So we can control in that level. We can control in that level. Is it clear? Any doubts? Now I want to enable delete bucket option or create bucket option. So go to my root. So this is the policy, right? We can edit it or we can create one more policy, whatever, which is the best option, we can go with that. So list, this is the custom policy, right? I have created. Okay. Yes, this is. Click on these permissions, edit. Visual. I will explain the JSON also, don't worry. So this is the existing list I have enabled. If you can go with the list bucket, right? Just uncheck now. So now I'm going to enable list bucket, list all my buckets, the read level, and write delete bucket. So I want to give only, otherwise create bucket. You can give the create bucket. Okay. So I want to give the user to permission as a create bucket, list objects, list bucket instead of deleting. So I'll just give in 3 now. Same bucket, right? This apply for same bucket. If you want to change this permission, again add R and give the bucket name. It will apply for all that. Next. Save changes. Now permission got changed, right? I have edited the same permission. Earlier only list objects. Now I have given permission for write bucket, means creation of bucket option. So creation bucket, the backend maybe dependencies are there. Okay. If you are unable to create a bucket, the message may pop up. You should attach one more permission to create a bucket. Okay. So if you are able to create, no problem. We can see now. I have attached permissions, list and write. Coming to the list, just read objects, read buckets. Coming to the right, only enable create bucket. Okay. Only enable create bucket. Now go to user. These are I'm in the user too. I'm the user to which bucket? This is the bucket, right? So I'm able to see now. Now what I'm going to do, list buckets, okay, we have given, list objects we have given. And also coming to the right, I have given create bucket option. So user 2 is going to create a bucket now. Something. Here we can see the problem. Fail to create a bucket. To create a bucket, S3 create bucket permissions are required. Okay. See here, guys. So dependencies, if you want to create a bucket, so definitely few more resources you should add along with the creation of bucket. Here saying that. Okay. List IAM list account alias. So you don't have permission to IAM list account alias to request access, copy the following test and send it to your AWS administrator. Okay, it is not right. Okay, I'll check in the Google. To create bucket, required permissions in policy. Create bucket permission is fine. Okay, let me check. We have given only bucket permission is fine, they are saying. Then why we are unable to create here? Create bucket. I'm in the user to write. ASL by default is enable region, all public enable, disable, yes. You can upload files, follow to the bucket and configure additional bucket settings. Fail to create bucket. Create bucket permission you have given, right? Go to root. Maybe we are missing something. This is a permission, right? I'm the root, don't confuse, guys. What? Go to users to, guys. Users to S3 custom. Click on that. I haven't attached now. Just a minute, guys. Yes, create bucket permission is not given to user. I think by mistake I have given user one, I think so. Anyway. So I'm the test, I'm the root now. Don't confuse here. So this is list only. This is wrong. Custom list S3. What is the name I have given? Custom list S3 or S3 custom? Are you sure? Custom list S3. Let me check. Okay, custom list S3. So I want to attach custom list S3. User to this one is right. Then already attached, right? Go to permissions. List right. Okay, click on that. Create bucket. List bucket, list all my buckets. Actions. The visual. Two actions. Hello. Right. Create bucket. I have given right. Okay, I can give delete bucket also this time. We can see delete object also. The same ARN. Next. Save changes. Okay, guys, if you can see, I have applied delete also. I have uploaded and delete object also. Again, no need to attach and detach. Okay, this is already attached to user 2. It is apply by default. Okay, we can see delete also it's working or not. No need to attach every time, guys. Once the policy already attached to user, right? Whatever actions you are doing, it is apply for by default. Now go to buckets. I have given permission only for this one, right? Go to here. Okay. See, guys, again dependencies. You don't have permission to get the bucket versioning settings. So without S3 get bucket versioning permission, we cannot determine if this is delete action will add. So many dependencies. If you are trying to delete this object, fail to delete object. Why? Yes, we should enable. Which one? Okay. Again, I'm going to delete. Here you are able to see S3 bucket versioning permissions. Okay. Control C. Go there. This is the list permissions, right? Okay. Edit. Visual. JSON, I will show you tomorrow. Don't worry. 4 actions. So, guys, if you want to delete the object, they are saying definitely you should do first bucket versioning. So, where it is? List or right? Check, guys. Right. What is that? List. Let me paste it here. Get bucket versioning permissions. We should enable. Permissions management. Where is the version here? Get bucket version. I think read. See here. Get bucket. Get bucket version. This one, right? Enable. Get bucket version enable. We'll see. They are saying only one, right? Next. Save changes. We'll try one more time. If again they're saying you need to do something, we can do like that only. Refresh it. The root level, refresh it. And here also refresh it now. Come to bucket. Test bucket, right? So this time going to delete objects. So there is no error, right? Bucket version, there is no error. Now you can delete it. Fail to delete. Access denied. See the error column in the fail to delete table below, where it is. Error column. The folder is selected and deletion, all object folder will be deleted. The new object added while delete action is progress might also be deleted. If an object is selected for the deletion, a new object with the same name that are uploaded before deletion, that is okay. We know. If you need to undo deletion, where is the error here? I will try one more object. Okay. It's read. No, I have given a write. I'm the root again. Custom list. Go to Okay. Custom list. Go to edit. Visual. So I think what they're saying, many dependencies are there, guys. If you want to delete, like that, you can test and enable required dependencies also. We are doing through policy, right? I have given write permission to delete bucket, delete object, create bucket. Maybe we are missing something, but console itself, they should tell us so that we can enable it. Like versioning, get bucket version I have enabled, right? Even though something we are missing, but console itself will not saying that. Delete is fine. Delete object I have given, right? Delete object version. We can see now. So process, you got it, right? Process, you got it. What is the difference? Custom and inline. But permissions, maybe you are missing something. If you can give the correct permission, it will work. That's it only. No need to confuse in this. So let me try. I have given bucket version. Now we can try to delete one more time. Okay. Same problem. I think what I observed, whatever bucket I have selected, let me check. Okay, guys. The reason is I have selected versioning bucket. Okay. I have selected versioning bucket. But if you can try delete object, delete bucket, it will possible. But don't try in the versioning. You should disable the version first. But I haven't disabled, right? Is it clear what I'm trying to say? What point we are missing here? I have chosen the bucket is a wrong bucket. Versioning bucket I have chosen. Versioning bucket, how we can delete it? Once delete the versionings and delete the objects, then delete the bucket, right? So if you can go the policies, permission policies, let me check, guys. I'll do change the bucket here only. Go to my bucket list here without versioning bucket. I got it now. Lambda SD demo, any versioning is there. So this bucket also versioning is there. This bucket also versioning is there. Oh, all buckets are versioning is there. Okay, guys. So do one thing, you can try on your end. Definitely it will work. The reason is versionings. Okay. So in the policy level, we can disable the version quickly. We don't have much time. Anyway, go to visual, write actions. Right. Is there any disable version option? Permission management. Disable version. Okay, quickly what I can do, go to buckets. We don't have much time to check the permissions. I'm the root, right? I'm the user. Okay, I'll just go to root, go to S3 buckets. I'll just disable the version first. Then it will work. This bucket, right? Go to properties. How to disable it? Properties, edit, suspend. Okay. So first I need to delete the objects. Okay. Now go to properties, edit bucket settings, suspend. Okay. What is error? I changed, right? Okay. I have created replication rule for this. So many dependencies again. Okay, guys, you can try. Definitely it will work. Okay, but don't try in versioning bucket. So versioning bucket also we can try it, but we should choose the exact permission. Where should we disable it? That's it. Try it. If you have doubt, don't worry. We can see that tomorrow. Permissions. So tomorrow I'm going to explain JSON, how to write the JSON. Okay. Today we have seen in the console level, right? So tomorrow I'm going to explain the JSON. Visible actions, permissions, delete access. Where is the versioning here? Okay, so what you guys can do, create a fresh bucket, upload the objects. The bucket ensure there is no replication rules before you have created, and ensure the bucket there is no version is enabled. Even the version is enabled, you can disable it first by using policy also. We can do it. Okay. So try it. The bucket ensure there is no replication rules. Okay. Try it from your end. If not possible, tomorrow we can see one more time. Don't worry. Okay. So tomorrow, first half an hour, I will show you to create a fresh bucket. We don't have much time to create a fresh bucket now. So create a fresh bucket, ensure there is no dependencies, then we can do it. After that, we can explain JSON policies, how to write a JSON. It's very easy, JSON writing policies. See, console level is very difficult to choose all the steps, right? JSON, simply we can change the small sentence, it will apply for everything. It's very easy process. We can see in the tomorrow. Okay. So I think you got the point, right? Difference between custom policy, inline policy. The for today class is only for difference custom policy, inline policy, default policies. Okay. So try your end. I'm going to give a task to you after 1 hour after complete the DevOps class. So you can perform the task and let me know you are done or not. Okay. Okay, guys. See you guys. We'll